So let's talk about the importance of having an aesthetic body in a relationship. This is crucial. A lot of guys are going to ignore this. They're going to convince themselves that they don't need to have a body because their girlfriend or wife is not superficial. But the reality is, everyone is. And it's actually smart because what you reveal on the outside is actually going to prove what you have on the inside. I know that sounds like completely backwards, or people say don't judge a book by its cover, but everybody does. That doesn't change the fact that we all do the same thing. I'm not saying that's everything. All I'm saying is that it's very important. Your body is a direct reflection of your priorities. And people who take care of themselves are not selfish. They just invest in themselves. That's the difference. Doesn't mean that's all they do all day, because that's one of the huge misconceptions that a lot of people have is that people who exercise are exercising all day. It's like, no, it's not. We exercise 1 hour a day. That's it. So the hour you spend in watching Netflix and watching the news and scrolling on social media, fit people use that hour to actually get in shape. So in reality, fit people actually prioritize the right things, or most fit people do. With that said, I'm going to walk you guys through why it's important to stay fit, I'm going to call it fit and aesthetic in a relationship. Number one, the reality is that how your wife or girlfriend saw you when you first met, you're significantly fatter than you were then. So think about that for a second. If she's not as superficial as you claim, then why didn't she get with a fatter guy or a guy that's not fit? It's because she cares about your health. And it looks better when you're healthier. It's not a very hard concept to understand. So if you don't want your woman to have wandering eyes, then you need to be fit. You need to be aesthetic. I would say for men, get to 15% body fat or lower. That's literally pretty much all you have to do. That's when your face is going to start showing a little better. Your little jawline's going to show, your little cheekbones. You're going to have a flat stomach. You might not have abs yet or shredded abs yet, but you're going to be pretty lean in comparison to the majority of the population. So that's going to help you stand out. So being at least 15%, staying lean in a relationship is going to help your relationship a lot more than you think. So staying fit, like I said, is going to make sure that she doesn't have wandering eyes. And even let's say she does leave you, it won't be because of that. At least you can rule that out completely and actually keep it pretty simple, meaning you know that it wasn't because of the way you look. That's huge. At least you won't have that doubt in your mind. The second reason that you want to make sure that you take care of your body and stay as fit as possible is because it gives you more leverage in a relationship. The reality is, girls won't admit this, so don't even ask them. They're not going to tell you the truth. Or 99% won't. Maybe 1% that does, but I'm telling you right now, you don't care. You don't ask a fish how to catch a fish. You ask a fisherman. The reality is that if you have a fit body, you have more leverage in the relationship because more people are reaching out to you, whether that's through choosing signals out when you're out and about or actually reaching out to you through your Instagram account, or they see you somewhere and they try to strike up a conversation with you. If the opposite gender wants you, that's a good sign for the relationship. That's going to help keep the girl or let the girl know that she's with a guy that other people want. And she's with a guy that other guys want to be like. And she's with a guy that other girls want to be with. I know a lot of people won't understand this, maybe because a lot of you guys are probably chopped or cooked, as they say nowadays. So you don't even realize this is another conversation for you. This is another language for you, but it's not. Not for guys who actually take care of themselves. So I'll give you a perfect example. I was at Chick-fil-A the other day and I walk in with a tank top because I was like, I'm usually walking around with tank tops and shorts when it's hot out. Or that's not true actually. But in this day I did. I say like 20% of the time I have a tank top and shorts just because it's comfortable. Anyway, I go out, I order, I think it was like a sandwich, like a chicken sandwich with some of those waffle fries. So I walk in, I'm standing there just waiting for my order. The manager comes from behind the desk and he goes, "Whoa, man, you're ripped." And then he was like, "Wow." He does this little flex thing with his arms. And I go, "Oh, thank you." And then a girl comes out of nowhere, gets super close to me. And then she flexes her arm and she's like, "Oh, I think I got you beat." And I go, "Oh, you're fit." I try to be humble, but in reality, I know what I am. I'm a rarity in comparison to most people. Most people are not fit. Most people are fat. Most people are also not just fit, but weak. I know fat people think they're weak, but they're not weak. They're not strong. Fat people think that they're strong, but they're really weak. I lift more than people who weigh 260 pounds, and I'm 185 pounds currently. So anyway, that happened. And as I'm walking out, she literally comes up to me and apologizes. And I don't even know why that caused her to do that. But she says, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Didn't. I was just joking." Ha, 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 ha." And then she does one of these. She giggles. She laughs. She's trying to flirt and make a pass. But those are things that happen when you're actually fit. You'll get the external recognition of people regardless of what you think. So some fit people don't even think they're fit. A lot of us have body dysmorphia. But the reality is that if you're fit, you're going to get the external validation. You're going to get better treatment. Women are going to be all over you most of the time. You're going to get choosing signals, which are basically, if you don't know what that is, that's basically when women not glance at you, they stare at you. They give you special treatment. They go out of their way to try to be around you and to get your attention as much as possible. So they might bump into you, which is actually incredibly annoying. They might laugh hysterically loud to try to get your attention. They might drop something for you to pick up. They might ask for your help. They might ask you pointless questions. These are all things that most people won't really understand, but this happens to you on a regular basis. They give you compliments. That's pretty much the clearest sign of it. And this is why it's important to make sure that you actually have a fit and lean body. I would say 15% or lower. It gives you leverage in a relationship, like I said. And the last reason why you actually want to make sure that you're lean, fit, and athletic and aesthetic in a relationship or marriage is because it helps your partner, not use the word partner, I think that's gay. It helps your wife or girlfriend actually value you and your health and your habits. So it helps her know that you're the type of guy that's going to prioritize his health and the health of the family. A man's job is to lead, and I'm not suggesting that you just lead any girl. Some sheep need to be let go if they're problematic. Let's put it that way. I know it sounds kind of crazy. I'm not saying that a girl's a sheep. I'm just saying, I'm using that as an analogy to show you guys that you're leading them. You are the shepherd. You should be leading by example. That's number one. You can't expect your girl to be fit if you're fat. Unless you're incredibly rich, then you can just pretty much get whatever you want. But for most of us who are not multi-billionaires, we have to make sure that we're as fit as possible so that we can lead our families appropriately. Because eventually you're going to want to have kids. And if you don't, I think that's the dumbest decision you can ever make. You should be having kids, as many kids as you can possibly maintain. That's my idea. Unless you're a bad person, unless you're an idiot, unless you're weak, then I recommend you have no kids. We need to make sure that that weak stuff ends with the weak person. But if you're strong, focused, and you want to improve the world, not just your own self, then you want to make sure that you stay as fit as possible, lead by example, and show your family that they can do it too. And that's crucial. Women look for leaders. They don't look for followers, in a sense, right? Everyone always follows someone, but for the most part, you want to make sure that you're leading your life so that you can lead her and the family. And you do that first with your health. If you can't take care of the one thing that God gave you before he gave you anything else other than life, is your body. If you can't take care of that, then how can you take care of anything else? You can't. And it's simple, guys. I'm not saying that you need to go out there and start taking steroids and TRT. I think most people take that stuff way too early. But for the most part, you want to make sure that you're at a 23, 24, 25 BMI. Make sure that you're as lean as possible, as muscular as possible, as strong as possible. And you do that by getting under 15% body fat. And if you do that repeatedly while eating healthy, getting enough protein, carbs, and fats, then you're going to have a significantly better life, and you'll be able to help your family have a significantly better life. I hope the video was helpful for you guys. If it was, make sure to click down below. Join our school. It's free for the first 50. And any after the 50 is going to be charged. We're going to actually start charging for it. So if you guys found this video helpful, like it, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.